Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to this week's Productive Agent Podcast. My name is Tony Ruiz. I'm the founder and host of the Productive Agent Podcast and Facebook group. Today, I'm joined by my good friend, Mr. JJ Gorena.
What's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
Takes me back to my radio days. I like it.
Yeah, I love it, right?
Yeah.
We'll get into that in a sec because
Sure.
I definitely want to talk about it. So JJ's been in the business for 19 years. 17 and a half of those were with KW. And he was a franchise owner of KW Laredo and helped grow that from nothing to 104 agents before selling. 9 years in the commercial real estate business. Past 5 years, he's collected 4 Airbnbs. Love to chat about that.
Yeah.
When he was at KW, he was part of the MAPS coaching program and taught the one thing across the country. He is also part of the first round of Success Magazine coaches in the entire country. Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
And since joining EXP about 14 months ago, he has 23 FLAs, which is pretty sweet. So
Yeah.
congrats on that.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Just kind of talk to us a little bit about your background of like where you're from and
Sure.
before real estate.
Pre-real estate. Okay. So I was born in Brownsville, Texas. Not a lot of people know that. I heard I escaped around 3 months or 6 months old. I have no recollection of that, but it's been told to me. Both of my parents worked for U.S. Customs, so my mom was like an undercover agent in Miami. And have you ever seen the documentary Cocaine Cowboys? Because I really didn't know why my life was like this, but we were essentially following the violence. So my mom was doing undercover stuff in Miami. My dad was there as a linguist. After 21 years of Air Force, he joined U.S. Customs. Then Escobar started bringing commuter planes full of cocaine into Houston. So they had my dad and us move to Humble over there.
Yeah.
Just so that he could check out all the big commuter planes with all the people speaking all the different languages. Then the cartel started fighting. So I spent some time in El Paso, and I ended up doing pretty much like middle and high school there. And then I came here for school and I stayed.
Yeah, and not a lot of people know this. I know our band people know this, but in El Paso, that's when you kind of fell in love with some high school band and band in general.
I did. I started in 5th grade and, trumpet, French horn, and then realized that like my love for the instrument, the baritone was there, and I was pretty good at it and wanted to get better.
Yeah.
Got a scholarship, and there's a whole story of like ruined my scholarship to get out of the game before it even started. I saw like the Christmas Future, the guy that went to Juilliard, that was my personal tutor. I saw him in pink tights at Excalibur in Vegas, and I was like, yeah, that's not gonna happen. So I came back, changed my major, and then
that would be a great picture though. I'd love to see you in pink tights.
I mean, I have some, but they're brickways, so they're not meant to stay on that long.
Yeah. You should wear it to your next client appreciation.
I'm wearing them right now, but no one knows that, so you don't have to bring it up that much because you're ruining it for me. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, cool, man. I appreciate you sharing that. So what got you into the real estate game?
So think about that, right? Thought I was going to be a music major, get my school paid for, or pretty much paid for, and then saw my Christmas Future, and I was like, best case scenario, I'm a band director, no offense. And I know how, I say that, but I mean, obviously there's band directors that are so influential in my life. That's the person I am now because of some of them, but I didn't want that future. So then I'm kind of lost. I have my son out of wedlock. No, I had, we get pregnant with my son, Trey. He's my favorite mistake of all time. And I'm 21 years old, about to have a kid. And so I'm like, now what do I do? So my dad, while he was working for Customs, also in real estate, right? Mm-hmm. I saw him do that. And then my stepdad, I saw him, pretty much run a law firm, be a partner, then become a judge. My mom was in law after Customs for 30 years before she retired. So I knew it was the same game. It was very similar. Like lawyers and real estate agents are very similar in the fact that they have to go and prospect for clients. Mm-hmm. We've heard about that. Sure. We've heard that, right? Then we have to service clients at a high level. We've heard about that. And then you have to stay on top of your clients and get referrals, and then the saga continues. So I thought to myself, banning gonna have music's out. So what do? I either can graduate with a political science degree, which is the best thing I can do there is be a social worker or a parole officer, or and then go to hopefully St. Mary's Law. No offense to anyone with the St. Mary's. I just don't think I was going to fall into my stepdad's footsteps of UT Law. And then and then go grind and then go pay off all these loans or I can do the same thing but more specialized. And I knew that real estate was very similar. But I knew both though that I needed a runway. So I think I had a very unique perspective of real estate because it's not a job. I feel like a lot of people have the wrong interpretation of what real estate is. They feel like it's been like glamorized a lot. And I think like HGTV has ruined our industry, them or Netflix, like selling Sunset and stuff like that. They think if you get like a nice, Banana Republic suit and like a cool Gucci belt, you're just going to start selling $1 million of real estate. And maybe you can. I'm sure people do that, but they don't. But I knew the grind. I saw my dad fail, and I saw I tell people this is I'm going on my fourth recession because I felt the savings and loan. I felt that. My family felt that. I felt the .com. I was in the game in 2008, right? So recessions come and go, right? And I don't know why people freak out because, by the way, we make money on the way up and the way down. So
sure.
I mean, we should you got to just shift your mindset. Well, I'm having a class about that, by the way. So I knew I needed 9 months of all my bills paid. So, and not a lot of people know this, but I passed my classes and I took everything. I was done in 2002. I just didn't get a broker till 2004. And that was just a time in my life that I was a wine sommelier. I worked for Mark Bohannon. And I was just having fun drinking wine. It was, I was Peter Pan. I just didn't want to grow up. Because I knew once I started real estate, it was game over. Because I know it was a grind. And so the first, I spent that time saving up a ton of money. I knew I needed all of my son's expenses times whatever. Yeah. I needed marketing. I had a budget. I had a business plan. My mom approved it. Seriously. Yeah. She looked at my business plan. So did my stepdad. I needed marketing money. I needed like cards. I needed money for lawn signs, for like open house signs, dues, gas, like my car insurance, my car payment, my rent. Like I had 9 months. Yeah. I think people don't do that. I think they come in and say like, now what? Like eat or die, right? Like it's catch fish and eat or don't. And so I had that runway is what I called it. Thank God. So
I try to warn people of that for sure. I mean, that was probably my biggest holdup of jumping into it. And when I looked at my TRS, I said, okay, if I pull this and put it into IRA, which I can access,
right?
I can live for 10 months. And at that point, I was like, okay, I know in 10 months, I'm going to figure this out.
Or not.
Or get back to something else.
Yeah. Right. Or not. Or Uber Eats. Let's do it. Right. Yeah. So, that's a unique situation. I think a lot of people, and I'm going to say this, and I know it's an unpopular thing to say, but no one does it big part-time. I mean, maybe I'm going to get killed for this, and I don't want anyone to do it. And I tell people, if I was looking up urologists to get a vasectomy, I'm like, I'm not looking for the dude that's part-time. Right. You know what I mean? If you're going to tug at that area of my body, I want to make sure that you're hardcore all in. Yeah. And that's just one, or I'm my financial advisor. I don't want him to be like a weekend warrior that looks at the stock market in between his other job. You know what I mean? Like I want you to eat it and breathe it. Yeah. And real estate is that. It's like, dude, you got to know everything. And you can't. Right. You just got to have the pulse on the market all the time. And by the time you figure it out, they change the game, and it's overwhelmingly huge. Like how much information you need to know and be good at, skill sets and levels. And I have some part-time agents. And I said, look. And in my organization, and I'm glad that it gets a little side income, but I tell them like you got to jump in, and so whatever you need to do to jump in, I say use it as a side gig to get your 10 months of money, and then just the water's warm, man. Just jump in because you're never scale it. And my second year coach Rick Fry taught me that. I remember he was like, "What's your goal?" And I was like, 2 a month. He goes, "If you can do 2, you can do 10." And I was like, "What do you mean by that?" And he. Well, because his wife was doing 10 a month. Maribel Fry, she's the craziest agent in the game, like the craziest grinder I've ever seen in my life. She taught me how to grind. He was right.
What did she do? Well, what blew your mind that you're like, holy, she's the craziest?
Because grinder. she showed me scalability.
Okay.
Because let's say you have 2 clients in the month of April of 2023. Do you have to be available for them during the day for questions?
Yeah.
You have to be available at their beck and call for inspections and amendments.
Yeah.
You have to be available all week to answer the phone calls of the title companies and the lenders when they need you.
Sure.
So if you're going to do it for 2, might as well do it for 10.
Yeah.
And that's what he taught me in real time while I was witnessing it. And that's when I was like, oh, yeah, why am I going to only do 2?
Right.
Let's go for 10.
As you're saying that, I'm going, well, it's only 2. Like it's not even that much.
But if you're going to be available for 10.
Yeah.
It's not like you can do you understand? Like you still have to have all that time available.
Right.
Does that make sense? So you still have to show on the weekends. Like if I show 1 client on the weekend, let me show 10.
Yeah.
Right. If I'm going to miss the Fredericksburg trip, let me show 10 people. Right.
Right.
Does that make sense? Why am I going to ruin a Saturday for 1 buyer? Ruin your Saturday for 8.
Yeah.
And then that's what he showed me. And I was like, so happy that I learned that year too.
Right.
Because if not, I think people think small. They're like, well, I can take on 2. If you can take on 2, you can take on 10.
Right.
Period.
Yeah. I like that, man. So talk to us about your year 1, year 2, talk to us about the grind,
Sure.
and your progress and kind of your milestones throughout your.
Remember, 2002 got my license. Well, could have got my license, did it. Waited, got my runway, drank wine, hung out, had fun, Peter Pan, whatever. And then 04 comes, and then I'm like, all right, it's on. And I'd say that there's a lot of stars that had to line up for me to be me. And I almost went to Century 21 Smith and Associates in the South Side because I live in downtown. It was really close. And Florencio Villalpando was actually the broker, and he comes back into my life because I passed the torch to him on Laredo. So it's kind of full circle, by the way. Really weird how that happened. So I almost worked for him, and then he ended up taking the franchise from me. But so if I did that, it would have closed down 3 months later, and I don't know if I would have been in the game. I happened to get to Keller Williams City View. Thank God. I love them. I love everything about KW, and I'm so happy for them as a company. They're the number 1 training company in all industries in the world, and they showed me day 1. But I sat next to a guy named Brian Shentz that had a database that thick, and he won Rookie of the Year. He demolished my sales, and so I knew I had to outgrind him. I was never going to beat Brian unless I knew more people than Brian. And I learned that in the first day of real estate. If I would have started a year or a week earlier, I may have not known that. And at the end of my week of, it was called Ignite. Well, no, it was called Career Launch. Now it's called Ignite. But at the end of Career Launch at KW, this guy named, he just died this year actually, or last year. Bob Contreras came in and says, and if anyone needs some extra help and wants to hire a coach, and I was like, me. And I've been coached my entire career, all going on 19 years except for 7 months, and those 7 months were the worst 7 months of my life. I don't know how people do it without a coach, and I'm being 100% about
Why?
that. Well, it's a lonely business. It's chaotic. You're always second guessing everything that you do. There's ceilings that you hit constantly. It's complete disappointment after disappointment after disappointment after disappointment. And it takes a toll on you. And there's anxiety that happens, and it's consistent, and you never know if you're going the right way. You don't have a board of directors. You don't have help. You don't get any guidance. Everything is on you, and you're completely accountable for all the results.
I laugh because you're pretty much exactly right on all of it.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
So I can't imagine not talking to somebody every single week.
Yeah.
Every single week. And am I uncomfortable? Yes, I'm uncomfortable, dude. You said 23 FLAs in 14 months. He laughs at that, bro. He's like, that's pitiful. And it is, because is it possible to do more? Like, what's Mike Sherrard doing? Like, it's possible.
Sure.
So he's like, bro. So by the way, a mentor is a mentor. I'm a mentor to you. We're boys. I love you like a brother. I'm a mentor to a lot of people, but a coach is someone that gets financial compensation for your success. They're a board of directors. You don't have to listen to them. I can say, you know what, F off, dude. I'm going to watch Ellen and chill. I'm going to rewatch The Sopranos because I can. I'm a real estate agent, right? But I choose not to because I know I have to turn in P&Ls, and I got to go over my P&Ls, and I got to he has access to my calendar. He knows. He's like Santa Claus. He knows when I'm sleeping, and he knows when I'm awake. Yeah. And so, yeah, why wouldn't you want that?
I have a question about coaching.
Yes, sir.
When you're being coached, was there ever a time where you were discouraged by your coach? And
discouraged.
Sometimes I feel like when I have conversations with different people,
yeah,
and they're like, yeah, they're absolutely right. I get down on myself, right? And then I kind of come out of it not like, yeah, let me go after it and get it. But more like, oh, man.
Well, coaching should never feel like that. Mentoring let me tell you the difference, because I think there's a huge difference. And I don't think, and I get mad that a lot of institutions call their organizations coaching, because it's not. And I'm going to even include MAPS and I'm going to include even like the core training. Well, they say training, not coaching. But let me tell you the difference between mentoring and coaching. Mentoring is if I walked into this house and the lights were off and this is your house and you've lived here for a long time. You could guide me through this dark house, right? And say like, don't go down that way, it's this way. Don't go down that way, it's this way.
Sure.
I know this house. Don't worry about it, bro. I got your back. I know this house. That's mentoring. You're shutting all the doors to get me to the bathroom or the whatever. That's mentoring. I've done it before. You want to be like me. I can give you pointers to like all the thousands of dollars or tens of thousands of dollars or heartache and pain or anxiety that I've lost from my pain points of failure. I can minimize them for you as your mentor.
Sure.
Okay. That's mentoring.
Okay.
So Mike Ferry, mentoring. All the ferries, mentoring. Okay. Maps, mentoring. Okay. Coaching is different. Coaching is customizable action plans for what Tony wants to do now. Okay. Because hey, look at your business versus mine, my business versus Alan's and mine and yours versus Mark's versus Cedric DeQuinn at Cooper versus, I mean, we're all like, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't happen in any other industry either, by the way. Could you imagine if there was like a restaurant coaching that everyone has the same menu, everyone sells the same stuff, everyone has the same recipes? I mean, it would just be Taqueria Jalisco number 3009. Right. So, but if you want to be in the Taqueria Jalisco game, like I'm sure there's a format, right? So mentoring is that. Coaching is customizable. It's figuring out what you want when you want it. And I'm gonna prove it to you. And by the way, you already know. I think everyone looks at some like astonishing, like monumental things. And I always tell people when they go to my trainings or they're ever coached by me, I was like, it's already inside you. I'm just getting it out. And I'm going to prove it to you. Ready? I don't want you to think. I just want you to answer the questions. You ready? And you're going to have to, don't say them out loud. Just think of them.
Okay.
Ready?
Right.
What's your favorite food? What's your least favorite food? When's the last time you had your favorite food? And when's the least time that someone made you try your like least favorite food again? Okay. Now, what are the answers?
Steak and asparagus.
Steak is your favorite. Asparagus is your. What's the last time you had steak?
2 nights ago. 3
When's
nights
the last time someone said, try this asparagus?
It was a while ago.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the answer.
Okay.
It's inside you. Me as a coach, it's my job to get that out of you. It's in you already know it. Now, what happens to us without coaches when we're all lost in the abyss of what is any business ownership is we go, no, steak's my favorite. But if you think about it, it's beef, all beef. But you know what? When it comes to beef, though, I really do like. I mean, I guess I kind of like Well, but if I include T-bone, then do you see what I'm saying? And this is what your brain automatically does. It creates doubt.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Am I going the right way?
Sure.
Right. But when I can pull that out of you as a coach and say like, no, dude, I got it out. We know it now.
Yeah.
Like I made you visualize eating a steak, right? That's what you want. Like, but I'm not going to let you be like, because if I let it go, if I let someone go and I'll be like, if I give them a day to think about it, 30 minutes, I'll come back. Like, what's your favorite? American food. It's American food. Like it's definitely American. Yeah. I'm like, dude, it's steak.
Yeah.
It's steak, homie. Like, let's go after that steak. Okay, so it's the subconscious that gets in the way of success. And it's the accountability that holds you to the fire. And it works. And it works because, and by the way, when I have a vested interest in your business, like everyone that I coach, anyone that's listened to this that I coach knows that if there's something wrong with if like they go to the hospital, the doctor should call me before their mom. I'm being serious because I know how they feel. I know I know how they're sleeping. I know if they've been stressed out or not. Like I know more about my coaching clients than I do most of my family because I have a vested interest in their lives. I have a vested interest in their business, and we're all winning together, and we're all in it. And by the way, like I said, I'm the board of directors. They could always say like, "Nah, I'm good." And by the way, it changes, and also it shifts. That cookie cutter, I'm going to do exactly that because whatever that book model is, then we're all Taqueria Jalisco's. And I don't know why I'm talking mess about Taqueria. It's the first thing that I thought of. There's so many that I pass by every day, I think.
Yeah.
And it might not fit for you. You might be a steakhouse.
Yeah. So you got your business off and running.
Mm-hmm.
and
First 2 years, the grind.
the grind.
Okay, dude. So I get 9 months of, and it's the most brutal 2 years of my life. Anyone that's known my mom, like the most brutal 2 years of my life. Yesterday was Easter, which is funny. In 2004, my first day off was Easter because my coach is like, dude, you can't do an open house, man. Like no one's going to come. Right. I had signs in my Cadillac STS for Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, open houses. I did 4 a weekend. I would pick them on Tuesdays, get the commitment from the listing agents by Wednesdays, put ads in the paper. That's how old I am by Thursdays. Go put directional signs and door knock on Fridays, have them Saturday, Sunday, and back again. And in between that, I was sitting in for the Syntex guys because they still allowed it back then. Yeah. Let them go play golf, go take their kids to and it was just sporadic. Yeah. While I'm grinding and making calls and calling, I remember, and by the way, I knock on Bob because before Bobby, I was successful. I was the #1 listing agent. I got the award for the most listings as an individual agent at Kilwim City View without Bob because I was calling for sale by owners. And I got a script and dialogue, and I got a coach, and he held me accountable, and I killed it.
Do for sale by owners still work in today's?
Yeah, absolutely. More now than ever.
Okay. Yeah. And open house the same?
So if you think about it, there's $1 billion with a B dollar industry of open houses. It's called new home sales. Yeah. What is their tactics? Open houses. They have a 7-day-a-week open house concept, and it works. Yeah. And it has a method to the madness. Sure. They go, you notice that they clear out everything between them and the major streets. So when you go up, you can see the flags of the model home. Yeah. Because they know that no more than 2 turns off of a major street will work. Exactly. They also know that they have to be available. Like they also know how to close. If you want to know how to do open houses, go take your name tag off and then go pretend like you're a consumer at an open house. They will make you sign in. They will make you excited about their product. They will make sure that they get all your information. They will get your criteria. They will make you visualize yourself in the house. They will show you how to sell a house, how to show a house. It's awesome. Yeah. It's awesome. Yeah. So yes, open houses work. Okay. It's the only thing that's been the most consistent thing that's worked since my dad was doing real estate in the 70s. Open houses and database are the only 2 things, and they should be the basis of all first-time agents. Sure. And if you don't like open houses, then do more of them. Because I hated them, so I did 4. And I hated cold calling, so my coach was like, "Then you have to be the best at cold calling ever." And I hated him for telling me this, but he's like, "Then you got to do it so much that then you'll get a database of past clients, and you'll never do it again." And I never have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. So what led you did Trade Group before you did Laredo, correct?
Yeah. So in 2011, yeah, me and Bobby was like a little gnat. Like he was just like all around me. Like he's 8 months after me, Bobby Cortez, my business partner now. And we ended up being like accountability partners. We had a bunch of guys, Tony Zamora, he's the broker of Kilwim City View now. We would go to each other's house, but everyone like everyone gets really excited in January for the gym. And then by like March, I went there this morning at 4:30, dude.
Everybody's gone.
Oh, dude, it's like valet. I park in the front. So we're going, being accountability partners, hitting for sale honors. We were both in the magazines, which is the only thing you could market back then. So we were like just holding each other accountable for scripts and dialogues. We still to this day do scripts and dialogues, by the way. We're way into the game. And we did it.
Bobby.
Me and Bobby, if you don't believe me, we do it every single week because this is our weapon. You have to sharpen your tongue, bro. And whenever he hears something that he's never heard before, he's like, "Hey, dude, check this out. This buyer told me that." I go, "What?" I'm like, "What would I say from that? You know, what's a good objection handler for that?" Like, we still do it, bro. Yeah, which is insane. Everyone's like, "How are you so good?" I'm like, "We practice every week for 2 decades." So we would help each other with scripts and dollars. We'd hold each other accountable for calls. Sometimes we'll call to 8. We used to order pizzas call to 8 p.m. because we had to get the 2 listings a week or whatever that our coaches had us doing. Had the same coach year 1, had the same coach year 2. And then we're supposed to do a coup d'etat and leave City View with a bunch of agents and go open up Exit Realty in 2011. And then we just stayed and became business partners. But it was a lightning in the bottle. I wouldn't recommend it, but it was, I'm an OP I'm an operating principal. I'm a operational person I'm looking for everything scalable and consistent. And Bobby is a type A personality that will never be beat and he will always win. And I said the best analogy of us is when Simon Sinek, which wrote the book, and I think it's the book, Start with a Why. the Zoom was coming out with Microsoft, and they was like going to be, and it was the best MP3 / music player of all time. Mm-hmm. Simultaneously, he was working with Steve Jobs, and he was telling Steve Jobs, like, dude, I'm gonna probably doing this illegally, but the Zoom's coming out. It's better than every product you have for music. It's gonna kill it. And Steve's like, I don't care. We're working on Apple Music, because Steve's looking way down the road when Microsoft was killing it today. And that's the best analogy of Bobby and I. I'm looking at what the trade group's gonna look like or be in 2028, and Bobby's gonna murder you now. And it just somehow we trust each other. Yeah. Because imagine poor Bob, like, I'm going to go do the one thing across the United States. He's like, why? I'm like, because it's time, right? Like, we're going to do a radio show. We did a radio show for 8 years. Yeah. Now a TV show. Yeah. Now I'm a producer of a TV show. And I'm coaching 550 agents all over the country. Now I'm a Success Magazine coach. And then I was when I did commercial real estate, I learned from people all around the U.S. Like, Bobby's just been like, dude, you have to have this blind trust, man. Like, it has to be. And I trust Bob too, that he's going to hold down the fort and grow the residential business and service our clientele and, allow me to operate and allow him to operate. And I've built my entire life and I've built businesses around Bobby's talent. And he's by far the most talented residential real estate agent. I'll tell this gauntlet down. I put him against any agent in San Antonio. He's better on the phone. He's better in person. He makes people feel extraordinarily well with every decision that he makes, and nothing gets by him. He's like Yoda.
That's pretty cool.
I learn from him every week. Yeah.
To have him in your corner, that's
I got LeBron James, man.
Well, cool, man. Where do you see the trade group in 5 years?
In Puerto Rico. No, I'm just kidding. No, I would never do that. No, I'm just kidding. No, look, here's what it is. I love production. Right? I love production. Yeah. You know what I liked about the core training? They were only allowed to train you because they were the top 10% of the industry. And like, if you're a core trainer, you have to be the top 10% of production.
Right.
Yeah. And I remember from one day to the next, you would lose a coach. Right. You're like, what happened to what's his name? He needs to concentrate on his business. When you're on the plane and they say the air pressure has changed, what do they say? Help everyone else? Right. No, they say put your mask on first, right? Yeah. Because you put your mask on first, then you can breathe, and then you can like be calm, and then you can help your kid, right? The best advice I ever got at 18 years old, I was a bartender, and it was this guy's house in El Paso, infinity pool on the mountain, and he raised 75 grand in his living room on for charity. And I said, hey, dude, I just want to be like you. As a kid, you didn't even know what to ask. And he's like, this is what you need to do, son. You got to make money, then make a name for yourself. Once you do those in order, then you can make a difference. People try the other way around. They try to skip. They try to get out of college and join Greenpeace. No one cares about you. You have no money. You don't have no name. You have to do it in order. So I love production. We will be in production in 2028. Now, the production we're going to be in is going to be like, hopefully, like what we want to do. And we're already at the point where we only play with people that want to play how we want to play. Because sure. I mean, why would you not? But commercial deals, I see myself focusing way more on the coaching because, and if I had a little board here, I would put a big circle and a little dot in the middle, and that dot, you have it. Everyone has a unique ability, and the little further you get from that unique ability, the less money you make, the less successful you are, the less happy you are. So everyone needs to just. And by the way, we can fire ourselves. I fire myself every 5 years in my company because you can't be doing it for that long. You know at Keller Williams how long the model is, how long you're supposed to be a TL, team leader? 18 months. This is a brilliant concept. Let me tell you why. When you are on the job, okay, and you're being trained, aren't you fall in love with the job you're about to do because you're being trained. You think about all the possibilities, right? Someone's training you. You're like shadowing them. You're super excited. Like, I'm going to do blank, right? And then you do it for 6 months and you're like on point because you get stuff to prove that you're going to be the best. And then you hit a brick wall and then someone taps you on the shoulder and says, hey, dude, you need to replace yourself. What do you do when you replace yourself? How do you train? How it's supposed to be done or how you do it? It's how it's supposed to be done. So they squeeze a little bit out of that towel because now they have Tony super excited when he started, Tony at the top of his game because he's trained, and then Tony doing it the best way possible for the next guy.
Yeah.
And we own our own company. And I see people in the same position for 10 years. It's wild.
Yeah.
Like, how can you do that? Why would you do that? It's probably not, they don't have a coach. That's probably why.
Probably.
That's my guess.
It's a good guess. So you got into purchasing a franchise. I want to talk a little bit about that.
Sure.
Actually, before we talk about that, can we talk about the radio show? Why did you start the radio show? What did you learn in that? Tell us about that.
Reading the one thing. This is oddly enough, right? I was reading the one thing, and I got to chapter 6, which is big is bad. And in there, it says, like, we all sabotage our own success because we're scared of it. And, you know, it's hard to swallow, but I think we all do that. I think that I hear these arbitrary goals sometimes, like, I want to be blank. But then you really break down, like, what it takes to do blank. And then you're like, I don't want to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so because we know that subconsciously, I feel like we sabotage ourselves. So anyways, luckily enough, a lot of luck, by the way. I was reading that book, got a phone call. This guy named Ron Quintero also died. Maybe I'm the Black Widow. Ron Quintero says they got the San Antonio Business Journal's top 25. They put all of the agents that wanted to show up. I was in there with all the big dogs. Put us in a room at this beautiful hotel downtown. I forget what it was. And they thought Bobby and I were funny. So they flew us to San Diego. We're hanging out with Larry King Live's people. And they taught us the craft of being on the radio. By the way, this is a craft. What you're doing right now, it's not easy. And so it's intros, outros, looking at the clock, making sure that you're hyping, like you hyped me up like Flavor Flav when I got in here. It was awesome. There's an outro so that you keep people's attention. You have intriguing questions. You know, like whatever. Bobby didn't pay attention. He's like the rubber chicken in the room or whatever. But like we did that for 8 years. And the only reason we stopped was COVID, because at that point I wanted to be in a little cramped studio. But I used it to build my database and to get uncomfortable. And it worked. And then we were going to bring it back, but we've now spearheaded that, has turned into a TV show. Yeah. So we've been with American Dream TV for 6 years, and now I'm producing a show in El Paso and Padre, and I'm also one of 4 coaches for the entire program. So I'm gonna be coaching 550 of the top agents across the U.S., bro.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think about sharpening iron, bro, with the top.
Yeah.
Yeah. No one's scared in that level.
Yeah, you really enjoy the coaching aspect of it. I think you teaching, educating, helping.
Yeah, just like that scenario where I was telling you, like when you're teaching people, you teach them how to do it the best way possible, right? You don't. Everyone's like, oh, why should I listen to this guy? I'm an open book. You know me long enough to know that there's no Oz. There's no curtain.
Right.
Like I'll show you my P&Ls. I don't care. But I do it because like, you know, I think maybe why you do it too is because I want everyone to be better. Like, and once you're teaching it, you have to practice what you preach. Because if you don't, then everyone goes, yeah, right, bro. Yeah. It's funny, like, I have coaching clients, right? And I'm so happy that my girlfriend Sudabe witnesses. So we have the Easter egg hunt, 2,800 eggs or something like that, like 190 people, chaos. On last Saturday. The Sunday, I didn't want to do anything. So we take our Italian Greyhounds and we go see Spanish live guitar at the Witty. And my girlfriend's like, no work. I go, no work. I promise. See this agent, right? See this agent that turns into a recruiting appointment. I get in line to get a margarita, turns into a recruiting. I just met Daniela. If she's listening, I just met Daniela by accident. I think she's going to join our organization. She's going to be at your thing tomorrow, Espresso. Yeah. And then there's this couple that's dancing, and it looks like Dancing with the Stars. And so I'm like a little tipsy at that point. I'm like talking to them. And then I realized, no, the girl and then the dude that was dancing was like, hey, man, you're in real estate. And so I get him pre-qualified. Anyways, 2 recruits and a VA buyer, bro. And I tell this to my agents, like, they're like, oh, the ones that I'm mentoring and coaching, they're like, yeah, I don't know where to get business. I was like, get outside of your house, bro. Yeah. Because
for sure.
You know what I mean? But I'm so happy she witnesses it because I feel like these agents that I mentor and coach, they hear boom, womp, boom, womp. When they're like, is this dude doing it? I'm doing it. Yeah. I practice what I preach. I think you do too. That's why you do it. Right. And it's selfish. I want my organization to do well. I have a vested interest in their life, right? I want your organization to do well because I'm a shareholder at EXP, right? I want Mark's and Alan's and everyone and Lisa, she's awesome, and Dayton's awesome, and Mario's awesome. I want them all to do well because I'm a shareholder all over the country. Right. And then as a profession, I want us to be more respected.
Sure.
So why not give back?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Talk to us about what you learned when you were when you opened up the franchise in KW Laredo.
What did I learn?
Like why did you do it? Why what did you learn?
You know what? This is a real story. I love Wendy Harrelson. She recruited me to Keller Williams. One of the hardest things to do is to leave her because she was a big person in my life. I kind of talked mess to her when we left to exit. We almost left to exit. I remember they had KW Magazine. I opened up the KW Magazine and I was like, dude, there's no brown people on here at all. And it's because we came out of Austin and Dallas was our second region. Like, it's demographic, right?
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm scared that if I stay with you, I'll never be an owner. And I remember she told me, I promise you, JJ, the moment that ownership happens, I'm going to give it to you. And to her credit, she did. Probably the worst timing in my life to do it because I was just becoming a real estate agent. I had a radio show. You know, my son had just started living with us, and there's a whole other backstory to that. But she did, you know, follow through with what she promised. But here's the thing with KW, they don't even paint you a red wall, dude. They just say vaya con Dios. And so the best thing that I learned from that experience is that I had a coach, right, that was helping me through it. And I felt so defeated because when you're recruiting for a franchise, you need 40 people to say, you pretty much need it to be profitable day one. It's a perfect model. Keller Williams is awesome. Yeah. Hope I'm not giving company secrets away, but you have to be profitable day one. They always say lead with revenue. Any decision you make as a business owner, you say like, how am I going to make money for that? Doing a radio show, how are you going to make money for that? Are you going to do how are you going to make money? Like, where's the money? You follow the money, right? Or you start with the money. So I needed the 40 like FLQAs.
Right.
Think about that.
Yeah.
Just to to have the opportunity to paint a wall. Right. Just to paint a wall red, dude. Just wanted a red wall. Didn't get it. Failed and failed and failed and failed. And by the way, it's the most it's the least no one says good job. It's the most thankless thing I've ever done in my life. Yeah. But what I did learn is that changed my life was my coach was like, look, they're gonna just to let you know, when you're doing that, you recruit top down. So I go after the Allens and the Marks and the Cedric DeQuins and the head turners. Like, where did he go? That's top down. Badass agents, get them, or bottom up, fresh out of Champion School of Real Estate. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know if Daniela might be the next. She might be the next Bobby Cortez. You never know. Right. Top down, bottom up. Yeah. Dude, everyone top down was laughing at me, or they weren't even laughing at me. They were ignoring me, hanging up on me. Yeah. Really defeating, dude. Yeah. Like over a year of that, grinding, right? And so he said, "Don't call me back until they make fun of you." And sure enough, someone came up to me at Starbucks, and I was talking to someone that just got a license, and this guy goes, "Hey, don't you work for Sherman-Williams?" I go, "What?" Which I thought was pretty funny, by the way. He was like, "That pyramid scheme thing." I was like, "Oh, Keller Williams." He goes, "Yeah." And then he goes, "Here, mija," and he gave her his card. He's like, "Call me. These guys are a bunch of crooks." So, okay, now they're making fun of me. Right. And so I called my coach. I was like, "They're making fun of me now." He's like, "Awesome. Call those people that ignored you, and now they're going to answer." I go, "Oh, okay, whatever, Yoda." Sure enough, dude, in 5 weeks, we were ready. And then he said, "Don't call me back until they copy us." And sure enough, once you take some head turners from boutique shops, you start seeing caps, and they started copying the model of KW because it's an awesome model. And so what I learned in that, the best thing I learned is that in every industry, in anything that you're doing, first they ignore you, then they make fun of you, and then once they copy you, you've won. So when I have my radio show, if someone was being made fun of, I go, "Wait, who's he? What's his name? Maloof? How do you spell Maloof?" I have an interview with Scott Maloof when he's like 5 months into the game. Okay. Because people are making fun of Scott. Shout out to Scotty. I don't want to hate. I'm no hate. I don't hate on anyone. You know me. I want everyone to be good. So if they're making fun of you, that means the reason that the industry would be making fun of you, or anyone's making fun of you, is because you're making them feel uncomfortable and you're changing the status quo. So I don't want to be left behind. So I'm like, let me go interview this dude in my radio show so that I know what he's doing, so that I can either mimic or make it my own or help him, or like, you want to know the big people in the industry, right? Like, that's why I get all my offers accepted, right? So you if anyone gets made fun of, I want to know who they are, because they're the next big thing.
I like that.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people afraid to put themselves out there
Because they're going to be made fun of. If you're not making fun of me, I'm doing something wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's
you
good.
want to be made fun of because that means you're making people very uncomfortable.
Yeah. And you gotta put yourself out there to be made fun of.
No one's making fun of the person that doesn't post. No one's making fun of the person that doesn't have the balls to do productive age. No one's making fun of them. People making fun of your ass right now.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, that's cool, man.
Embrace it.
So let's talk a little bit about the real estate game.
Sure.
What you preach, what you practice.
Yeah.
Working with agents, database management. Talk to us a little bit about how you manage that, how you stay in contact and stay in front
Sure.
of them.
So it's a combination of core, all my coaching that I've had. Like, it's pretty much like, dude, like how we're going to beat, all these, like, I wasn't scared of Open Door and all them. Everyone's petrified of them. Like, look, let me tell you what Open Door can't do. I'm going to call everyone on their birthdays. Family of 4, calling on the guy's birthday, the girl's birthday, the anniversary when I sold them a house, the guy the day before their wedding anniversary to remind them to get a gift, the girl on the day of the anniversary to like tell, I can't believe you've been dealing with Tony for this long, their child's birthday, their other child's birthday. I call them to give them a market analysis on their house every year so that they can know where they're at or fight taxes. I call them to invite them to 3 of our events quarterly, at least the quarterly ones, like the Easter egg one we just had that had 2,800 eggs, a staycation, and we gave away a TV, all sponsored and paid for, by the way. And like I tell people, I get up every morning, I take a shower, I brush my hair, I put on deodorant, I put on cologne, and I have 20 great conversations. And if you ever like left the house, like, like maybe you didn't brush that well on one side, or you like accidentally didn't put deodorant on one armpit, you feel weird. That's how weird I would feel if I didn't have 20 great conversations. So it's just a habit. I'm the same dude that listens to Wu-Tang and drinks wine that like I was in 2001. I just have different habits.
Yeah.
I get up at 4:30. I'm on the phone by 6. I'm having great conversations. And I'm not cold calling for sale balls anymore. I'm not hating on that. I can still jump in. I've proved it to my agents. I've come back and I've done it just to show them. But I don't have to do that because I've been doing it for 19 years and loving on 3,500 past clients.
Yeah.
So now I'm just working with people that know my pedigree, know my resume, love to work with me. And by the way, I've told people past clients, like, I love you, but we ain't gonna do business together.
Yeah.
Because I know who they are. I'm like, no, you're paralyzing to me. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
we just, and then I refer them out if I have to.
Yeah. I like that. Talk to us a little bit about the events. I know that you're big into that.
Sure. I have a whole class on it. So events, man, will set you free. Again, I'm looking for stuff that's scalable and consistent. Like you could be I find these outgoing people, the most outgoing people on earth are in sales, and the biggest, highest ticket item in sales is real estate. So we get the best of everyone, the best looking people, the funnest people, the coolest people. And sometimes they come across some outgoing people and you would say like, man, I'm going to bet on her. I'm going to bet on that dude. I bet you they're going to do great. Here's the thing about that. You can't be everywhere all the time. So what's scalable? Get them all in one room. Get them all at Brackenridge Park to do adult Easter egg hunt, or get them all pictures with Santa, or get them to a wine tasting event. Get them to a kayaking event, a hiking event, to give back together at the food bank. Get them all in one spot. When you're the man or the girl, you're the one that did it. Get with an organization like us, like Boundless, and we do it together. Because when everyone does a lot, when everyone does a little, no one does a lot. And so, like, the worst part of the Easter egg thing was stuffing 2,800 Easter eggs with like lemon heads. It's terrible. I felt like a sweatshop worker. I felt like so like, how bougie am I that this like very simple air conditioned labor was like the worst thing that I've done in like 2 months.
Yeah.
Crazy. But yeah. And then get it. And then guess what? We call it underwritten, but get your sponsors. Like, I tell my lenders and my title people, shout out to Shane, the best dude in the game, and Jessica or Lana at Gold Financial. I was like, don't take me to the Spurs game. I don't want you to take me to lunch. Just we all have mutual past clients.
Sure. You
get to see them also.
Yeah.
And I get to tell them how that you sponsored the TV that they're taking home or the staycation that they won.
Right.
And they have a budget for it, and make sure they have the budget for it. So do it like 3 months in advance. They'll say like, hey, what are you doing on Saturday? Do you have $800? You know what I mean? Like, like there's a method of the madness. I do the class on it. Like I want that. If everyone did that, man. And I came from the catering business, right? The wine sommelier and catering business, and like there's no difference. And you get them at the best time of their lives. Like that Easter egg hunt, like Well, I saw the worst of humanity also, but you see people have it. I mean, when's the last time you hunted for Easter eggs? It's awesome.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's cool.
Yeah, I like that, man. So Airbnbs, I wanted to talk to you about this. I mean, I know there's talk to us about it. I've never heard of this, but you are nomadic.
I'm nomadic.
Yeah, like you don't have a house to go to. I mean, you have multiple houses to choose from.
Yeah, I'm homeless. Yeah. So I got into Airbnb on accident. We were doing a development. Bobby and I were the marketing people. I kept one. It was over there in Sunglow. It's on Presa, South Carolina, which we Airbnb. And so I was using that as a model home because it was 10 units and mine had to be, it was the corner, it was the best unit. So I had to use it as a model home. So I was like, I was going to live in my model home that I bought, right? It's kind of a weird situation when you're in that deep into a development that you're actually living in it. So we had our other house and I had a client that had an Airbnb, but in Houston, and he was just murdering. Like we had, before me and my ex are great friends, but we had a big, pretty good size portfolio of long-term rentals. But let me talk to the landlords out there. This is what a landlord life is. Once you get to a certain amount of rentals that are long-term, it is very expensive and there's headaches. So every single month I was like, and I'm a numbers spreadsheet guy, and I'm like, dude, someone's moving out. I got to redo the carpet now. I gotta resod the backyard. They don't take care of the ACs because they're renters. Why do they care? Right. So I'm like constantly replacing HVAC systems. I'm constantly like doing repairs on plumbing. I'm constantly doing all this stuff, and it just adds up. And by the way, the real estate then diminishes because, you know, like they don't care. They're going to crack your tile and they're just going to live with it because they don't want to like deal with it. You know what I mean? Because they call you, then they pay for it. Right. So I'll give you the best example. I remember this one chick, she called me, and it's a house on Potranco in 1604 that we have, and it's long term. And then she said, "Hey, I think I have." The words were, "I think I have a leak."
You either do or you don't.
I go, okay. And then, you know, as a real estate agent, I looked at my calendar. I was like, "This is Sunday." I was like, "I'm going to show houses over there on Thursday or commercial property. Yeah. Can I stop by Thursday?" Like, you know, why the hell am I going to go all the way out there? It's Potranco in 1604. And she was like, "Yeah, sure." So I go, dude. The whole ceiling was yellow, dude. And I'm like, girl, first of all, you think like this mold now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, now I got to move you and I don't know, your children aren't dead. I got to move you guys out and rip everything out. It's crazy. Airbnb, that doesn't happen, homie, because I'm there every 6 days. I'm changing the filters. I'm putting it in. And this happened too because, remember, half of my family comes from, I was consulted by a tax attorney when I was selling franchises with the KW and coming over to EXP. And he's like, "What else you want to talk about?" And I was like, "Oh, I always had a little swanky apartment at the Rim or at the Pearl." And he's like, "Why do you have that apartment?" I was like, "Because I need to live somewhere." He's like, "Just live in the places." Because he has a client that has 10 in Arizona, and he blocks them out. Yeah. I'm a little bit crazy, though. I don't block them out. I live in them, and I raise the prices per night. So if they like, I'll go up another $150 or $200. So if they make me leave, I guess, then I get go check into a hotel, which then I keep the points on that. So like I'm going to Toronto next month, and that's completely paid for because, you know, the points rack up and everything. And my whole life's written off now. Because if you think about it, like I am La Quinta, like I have to have like food and, you know, groceries and, well, not all groceries, but permanent stuff for them, and pots and pans and linen and, you know, toilet paper and paper towels. So like, you know, I all my mortgages are paid. I live for free. I just got to move every 6 days. Yeah, and so we build out, and only my girlfriend would agree with this. She used to be a medical sales rep, so she was always on the road. Most girls are like, no, hell no.
Right.
But, you know, in every house there's a linen closet, right?
Yeah.
So we customize that for our crap, you know, and supplies. And then we have like the under the stairs closet. We build those out to have like, you know, our own little closet. So I know where I'm at because I have Success Magazine shirts in all of them. I have, you know, Adidas. We're boys. Like I have Adidas in all of them. And then I just like, I go, okay, I'm done with that week of, you know, this. And I kind of dress the same, bro. So You're right. You've seen me always. It's always, you said, I know you're going to have jeans and like Adidas, right? So just different pairs of Adidas, bro. I have white Adidas, black Adidas, whatever Adidas in every single one. And then I'm like, I'm done with those Adidas for this week. And then I'll see you again next month or whatever. And but they're all taken care of. They're all been maintained, but like, you know, and you know what? It's funny. I don't know if you believe in manifestation, but I do in a lot of ways. And I remember I posted something a couple weekends ago of just all the deposits from Airbnb, and I just like I'm not like my business partner. My business partner loves stuff. He loves like Rolexes. He has over 400 pairs of Jordans. I've only just done everything just to travel. It's always been my thing. Yeah. I don't care about cars. I wish I didn't have to have a nice car. I don't care about clothes. I don't have any watches like Robert Elder, the bling master. So I imagine my life constantly on vacation, and so I think I've accomplished that, bro. It was just it was one of my things, and I just did it. But you got to be organized. Can't have kids. My son's 22, so and then my Italian greyhounds, they love it because they know they're going to. I think they know because my cologne. They're like, oh, we're gonna go to that house because every house has a different cologne. By the way,
that's funny.
Yeah.
So you've experienced a whole lot. I mean, you could write one hell of a book. You gonna write a book someday?
No, sir. No. Pop up, maybe pop up. No, you know, it's funny. My coach, the one that got me through my divorce, and Steve Kettle, rest in peace. It was a really big hit when he died in 2022, and he was always trying to push me to write a book because it's a very unique perspective, right? To constantly be coached in a ever changing game and doing commercial, residential, short term rentals for sale by owners, expireds, you know, like open houses, new home sales, development. Yeah, I mean, recruiting all over the country, public speaking. Got a coach for that. Like, I have a pretty weird. Here, let me tell you something. If I wrote a book, it would be called "Loyalty is Overrated," and I do have a. Well, you come to. I have a class about it because I figured a class would be better, or maybe you haven't. I'll do it again. But really, this is what I tell everyone: like, if I go to bed freaked out, and I wake up freaked out, and I know that's growth. Growth is severely uncomfortable, so I know if I'm uncomfortable, then I'm doing well. If I'm comfortable, I know I'm messing up. And I don't trust my gut now. I obey it, right? So, you know, you know when you're like, oh, this is like a lot. Like we got like 91 listings coming in Tulum. They're all Airbnbs. 600 coming in Cancun. I mean, most agents don't have 691 listings in their career. Right. That's coming next month. Yeah, it's hard to sleep sometimes, right? So you got to get uncomfortable, bro. And also, again, if I had a little whiteboard, I have to keep my world big so that all of my people can live in my world, right? If they get too big, then I'm gonna go live in their world. Yeah. So if you just keep on like stretching your boundaries, then people can live in your world. So all the people that I mentor and coach, and like I need to be able to have something for them, right? So I'm constantly just like figuring out what's the next step, man. I got to be ahead of everyone because this is like it's adapt or die, baby. That's how it is. Yeah, for sure.
I like it, man. That's all the questions I have.
I think we're good.
Did you have anything that you want to leave?
No, I just want to thank you for doing everything you do, homie. I remember when I got here to EXP, I'm going to be honest with you, like no one was training. No one was like putting themselves out there. Don't just put your head down. You're being uncomfortable. I'm watching you uncomfortable. Yeah. You talk about you being uncomfortable. I think you might need a coach. You might want to look into that. But outside of that, dude, you're killing it. I love that you're taking the responsibility of what no one else wants to do, which is to make all of us better collectively, have awesome people on your show, talk about stuff so that, and I know you don't get clearly enough credit or nuggets from it, you know, likes or downloads or whatever, but I'm so happy that you're doing it because you're the only person that I can imagine doing it. And I just want to thank you for doing it because no one else is. And so I'm glad you're severely uncomfortable being made fun of.
Yeah, you're making me sweat and get uncomfortable right now.
No, you're good. You're good. No, but I don't think you get the credit you deserve. It's very thankless. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
It's I love it. I don't want to give it up.
Sure.
I'm enjoying it. I learn from you. Sure. I learn from Melanie coming on. All the people. And I feel like I'm getting stronger.
100.
You know. But yeah, there's so many times where just like you've gone through all your failures and doubts and like, oh my God, is this the right thing? And what's going on? Are people even listening? You know, it's like, maybe they are, maybe they're not.
Sure.
And then you see and it was like, oh, somebody is.
Yeah.
And it's just that one little spark that keeps you going. It's like, okay.
100%. But someone's got to go out there and someone has to be vulnerable. Being one that's done it before, I know it's thankless. So I want to thank you for doing it because I don't think you get enough credit for doing it. So it's awesome, man. I'm so happy that you're doing it. And like, if you ever need help, man, welcome back to Bobby and JJ Radio. I got the voice, baby.
You do have the voice. You know how to work the mic. You
talk through the mic. You got to talk through the mic like that. Yep.
Yeah. I love it, man.
And if anyone wants to get a hold of me looking for success coaching one-on-ones, I will at least do a one-on-one with you. I live on Instagram at JJ Gorena, or text me 210-367-6024.
You need to at least follow him for his memes.
For sure.
Those are very entertaining.
Yeah. My meme game is really good.
Yeah, for sure, man. Well, guys, that's the show. I hope you enjoyed it. That was awesome, man. I really appreciate you coming on.
Bro.
You know, share the show with a friend. There's a lot of value that I got out of that. I know you got out of that as well. Leave us a review. Give us a rating. That really helps us grow as well.
5 stars.
Absolutely. And then join us on Facebook at the private Facebook group called The Productive Agent. We're also on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Go give us a like there as well. Subscribe there as well. We're also having our coffee event tomorrow. Well, this is kind of confusing because we're recording on Monday. Our event's on Tuesday, and this will air on Wednesday.
Yeah.
But anyways, we do that monthly. You know, you've been out there. We've done happy hour. So we're excited to have you there. So everybody's invited, and I appreciate you for joining us today. So now let's get out there and go produce.